Avengers were 1-0 in the pool. Of course, they've got Darkest Hour and Sentinels, like you said. And yeah, you're right. I mean, that's where we need to see the upsets happen. Of course, we're going to be seeing a G1 versus Status Quo on our screen here. G1, I believe they upset Sentinels, Tony. Is that correct? With Suppressed on the roster. I love Suppressed as a player. I feel like, you know, he's like that well-rounded player that kind of just fills any hole that needs to be filled and just, you know, does that cross map damage and does a really good job of that. I mean, this roster looking solid so far on G1.
Yeah, you know, it was.
It was SSG, I think, actually. Yeah. Sorry.
It was surprising that that Edge Gamers first made this move. You know, I don't think anybody saw Suspector being dropped, and I don't think anybody saw Suppressed being picked up. And if you say you saw both, I don't know, play the lottery or you're a liar. Like that's crazy to me. And but I will say that G1 had moments of greatness, but never moments of eliteness. And that's what we wanted to see. I said G1 were the number 4 best team in the world. I said G1 eventually at some point in time would surpass SSG as the number 3 team in the world. So I put very high expectations on Gamers First, and it felt like they weren't hitting that, so a change had to be made. Whether it was a conversation, whether it was a roster change, they decide to drop Suspector, one of the nicest guys in the world, by the way, a super talented Halo player, bring in Suppressed, who I know that he's highly underrated, you know that he's highly underrated, but to the Halo masses, some might say unproven, you know, on this level of competition. So this is a high-risk, high-reward move for Gamers First, and it needs to pay off.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to work ethic. We're not able to be a fly in the wall and see what kind of work ethic Suppressed has, but from what I've seen, from what the history tells me, he does work hard. He does, you know, try to improve his game on a daily basis, and that's what you need. I mean, you have, if a player has potential like Suppressed does, all you really need to activate at that point is just, you know, all of that bot review, all of that hard work, and, you know, see if that gelling does happen. Status Quo is up 2-0 so far in this game. Of course, now you see G1 starting to come back here, and I apologize, I was incorrect earlier. It was SSG that G1 ended up upsetting, and we could talk a little bit about that, you know, SSG having slow starts to tournaments, but it's going to be interesting to see how G1 stack up against Status Quo here. They're down now 2-1, starting to bring it back, starting to wake up a bit, Tony.
2-1 leader for Status Quo, and it's funny, we got the chance to talk to King J, and he said he was so happy that they made it out of the qualifier to the winners bracket, but he wasn't happy when he looked at it like, hold on, we might have just we qualified as the top 2 teams. We might have gotten into the hardest pool so far between G1, Complexity, SSG, Status Quo. They have a tough task on their hands just to make it into bracket play tomorrow, let alone make it into the winners bracket. But you're up 2-1 right now. You're doing it up against G1, so Status Quo, they're in it, and hopefully they're ready to upset.
Yeah, for those of you guys that don't really, you know, follow Halo Esports or maybe just joining pool play, right? You know, it comes down to points. It comes down to that win-loss ratio, and the 4th team in each pool will be eliminated. So you can't be 4th in your pool. You've got to at least win, you know, 2 games or whatever, however many games it takes to make sure you're not 4th, so you don't get eliminated. And, you know, Status Quo definitely being in that very difficult pool. I mean, G1 is going to be their first test, and you see right here, they were up 2-0, Tony, down 4 dead, I'm sorry, and now tied up 2-2.
Yeah, and mind you, Status Quo really need this because they've already lost the Complexity, so it's gonna be real. It's gonna be, if not impossible, for you to make it out without, you know, winning 2 series, or if you only win 1 series, you better have a decent map count against the rest if it ends up going to the tiebreaker. So you already lost the Complexity. You know, I don't know about you, but I mean, I don't see them beating SSG. I think you have to treat this as a must-win against G1. I really think so. I think Status Quo needs to step it up right now, tied up at 2 apiece, going into that mid-hill. 2 minutes on the clock. Rockets coming up. The one thing I say about this mid-hill was get your kills, Tim. Like, don't worry about trying to be sneaky, objective, efficient, because if you don't kill the enemy team, there is no shot you're getting any time on that middle hill.
Yeah, it's that one death that you get because you're trying to scrap up time turns into 2, 3, 4 dead for your team, and then time for the other team. So yeah, 100%. Those kills are very, very necessary. It's all about that objective efficiency, right? Making sure to get the kills so you have numbers on the map, then you can take space, and then you can take kill time. Status Quo showing a little bit of life. They've got that bottom C control now, and you can see the spawns being controlled by Piggy here, but unfortunately, well, unfortunately for him, they make a solid push. A couple shots come in through heaven. A player on Boobadubu ends up flanking on A side, and that A control is completely gone.
Yeah, Gamers First putting Status Quo 3 down right there, really taking over. And now that Gamers First has secured the kills, you find them right in the hill when it's going to be tough to get them out, especially as Piggy taking so much damage here on the A side. Falcon gets himself a double kill. Piggy is about going down. Falcon gives up his life to make sure that Status Quo go 3 down and Cherish. There's no shot. He doesn't have any shots on this hill. It looks like Gamers First will be taking this bottom mid hill, and that is not good for Status Quo.
That is not good, but we do have a Beach Tree Hill here next, so definitely not the most difficult hill. It's a very even hill, if I would say so, on this map for both squads. Falcated, you got to take a look at Falcated. 25-12 in this game thus far, having an incredible game and a very even game. Look at the assist column, Tony. I know you like that column out of G1. Look at the comparison of that assist column on G1 versus Status Quo here.
It's impressive. You know, it tells me that G1 are capable of winning these individual gunfights, but they're not counting on it. You know, they're out here making sure that they're putting shots, staying alive, baiting and switching, doing what they have to do in order to make sure that their teamwork prevails. And Status Quo, you know, maybe they win these 50-50 gunfights if they get into them, but the fact is you got to deal with a 1v2, you know, a 2v3. You never have numbers over Gamers First. Rockets are coming up. If Status Quo, if you can't get into these 1v1 situations, maybe you get yourself these rockets. Falcated goes for them, but ends up dying quickly. Suppressed with the nades, gonna deal with Diagram. His twin brother also dealing with Piggy as well. That's gonna be huge out of Suppressed, but somehow Gamers First go 3 down. This should be some good time for Status Quo.
I mean, that was a good... Sab just threw the rockets up to Boo Boo just to make sure he had that last rocket to work with. He gets a kill off of that as well, but all the while, Status Quo still do get that hill. So as flashy as that was, it didn't really net them anything. You see Boo Boo taking this C control. He's got the shotgun as well. He's going to be pretty much the anchor on this C side, but his teammates do need help. They do go 2 down here, so anchoring on this C side, he's going to be able to get the spawns potentially on that purple.
I'm just saying, if I had a twin brother part of a triplets or any brother whatsoever and I was competing against them, I ain't losing.
Yeah, destroy him.
There's no shot. I am not losing it.
Get him out of there.
Yeah, you over here, walking past his room, going to the restroom and whatnot. He pushes you over, knocks you down the stairs. You're crying. You look up like, why would you do this? Like, because you got 3-0. That's why. Get better, get bigger, get stronger, get faster. Like, what does that have to do with anything? You just broke my arm. What are you talking? Like, nah, I'm not losing this. And whoever wins, you know he ain't doing no chores. Like, it's your turn to wash the dishes. Yeah, okay. You got 3-0, buddy. I think you're washing the dishes. All right. You're the one that's washed. Like, what?
Oh boy, wow. Yeah, I mean, maybe knocking on the door, talking trash, you know, going through the hallway, man. That's definitely going to be an ugly one. But no 3-0s happening yet. It's 3-3 tied in this game thus far. You see Status Quo do put a hill on the board. Now starting to get this bottom C hill as well. They've got the spawns trapped at B side. And you see, something that I've noticed so far, Tony, is besides those rockets that came up previous, you know, Status Quo has had control of this Bulldog the entirety of this game thus far. And I think this is a big factor here. The break does happen, though. That's going to be all 4 dead for Status Quo. And now G1 have a chance to get some time on the hill for themselves.
Status Quo may have been able to take that 6 tilt to force us into the situation, a do or die 7 tilt onto the subway side. However, Gamers First put them 4 down. They take control over toward the subway side, get themselves the rockets that they need, and now they're winning every individual gunfight. That pivotal melee will trade out their life and make sure that nobody on Status Quo has an angle on that hill. So will the Shroud screen as well. The Suppressed drops behind. Eventually, Status Quo are sending numbers flooding into the subway side. Can Gamers First alleviate the pressure? Apparently they can't, because Status Quo put them right back on respawn. And hold on, this is a lot closer than you would think. Status Quo, one more round of defense here and they're gonna win this.
Yeah, that was a big play by Piggy right there. You saw he ran away. He was in tram. He was one shot getting pinched by 2 players. The fact that he was able to play his life and wait for his teammates was huge there because they were able to rotate over. They got the all 4 dead for G1, and now G1 are 3 down once again. Tony, this might be the 4th and final hill right here. I believe it is. Wow. And Status Quo gonna take game number 1 in a do or die scenario, Tony, like you talked about. Status Quo come up clutch.
Status Quo upsetting G1 here in game number 1. And what is that? Right after Gamers First upset Space Station Gaming? What is going on? We see an upset city over here, but I guess that's what Roster Mania does. 4-3. Diagram gets the 1-up over his twin brother, and now we're going into Live Fire Slayer as our game number 2, the number 14 seed, looking to upset Gamers First, a top 6 seed. A team with top 4 and top 3 aspirations. Status Quo looking to bring them back to reality.
I got to bring up the mental once again, Tony. Like you said, you and I talked to King J. I think what he said was very valuable. You know, he goes into every game. It doesn't matter whose name is on the screen. It doesn't matter who he's in a 1v1 with. It doesn't matter. He is going to win. He has the mentality that he's going to win. And as you can see right here, 6 seed versus the 14 seed, doesn't matter. Status Quo come out on top, and they were in a deficit right there. They had to get 2 caps in a row to make that happen, and they do it.
Now game number 2 goes to a Slayer. And then game 3 after that is a capture the flag. And although I will say Streets King of the Hill is fun, one of my favorite game types, it can be a little swingy. Now we're going into a Slayer Live Fire. This is a map and game type combination where you will get punished. If Gamers First puts you 3 down and influence those back A spawns, they will crush you. If they put you 3 down and influence those back green spawns, they will dominate you. If you're not able to stay alive and make sure that you do not go 3 or even 4 down and control your spawns, you will get punished. We'll see a 2-kill game turn to 5, turn to 7, turn to 10 real quick if you don't value every single life. That's Live Fire Slayer, and it looks like we just want to make sure that the players are right and whatnot. You know, maybe a little restroom break and whatnot, maybe shaking off the rust a little bit. But how do you feel about Status Quo now that you know they just won a clutch game 1?
I mean, it's really good. I love it. I think that they definitely show a lot of promise here, and with this Slayer, this is a must win as well. And they came back from that last one. They, like we talked about, they were down 2 caps, 2 caps to finish the match. But I feel like they show a lot of potential. And with I forgot who was it Sab who was popping off in that last game for G1. Someone had a really solid game, and when a player has a solid game like that and you're still able to shut them down, to me, I mean, that's a huge deal, right? You're able to come there, close it out. I think Status Quo have the potential to win this series, to be honest with you, Tony.
I mean, hey, after that game number 1, I think anything's possible. I'm not gonna lock it in just yet because I know how good G1 are.
Of course, yeah.
But I will say, if there's any time for Status Quo to step in and upset and pull off a major upset, it has to be off of a roster change, especially one as big as what we've seen so far. The top 10 of the top 20 teams in North America have changed up. Like, almost nobody looks the same. We have complexity right now, and half you guys like, who the heck is going? What is going on here? Are they in the wrong lobby? No, they're not. It's Cycle and Monster reunited with Tusk, the coach of FaZe back in season 1, and then Collect, who was on Sentinels, and you know, one of the most improved rookies to sophomores season so far. Like, dude, every team is different right now. And while we're waiting for this matchup to start, why don't we update them with what's going on with pools right now? Because I know Sentinels 3-0 Darkest Hour. I wasn't really surprised by that. Optic, we saw Optic 3-0 Avengers. I don't think a lot of people were surprised. I thought Avengers would win at least 1, maybe even take it to game 5. But Optic did 3-1 Sentinels in I will say in that series, Tim, I was watching and I swear it should have been 2-1 Sentinels after that Slayer. Like I swear it should have been a 2-1 to Sentinels, but that's neither here nor there. Avengers 3-0 over Darkest Hour. We go over to Pool B. FaZe 3-0 over Proton Gaming. Shopify Rebellion 3-0 over Locked. FaZe 3-0 Locked. Proton 3-0 Locked as well. But FaZe having to go to game 5 with Shopify Rebellion. Shopify Rebellion,
Wow.
almost beating out FaZe in a game 5, but it was FaZe that still got the win. G1 3-1 over Space Station Gaming. Complexity 3-0 over Status Quo. Then finally in Pool D, we have Native White with a 3-2 on Native Red, going all the way down to that game 5, and then Mantra 3-1 over Cloud9. I believe there's a player from Mantra. Yeah, in fact, Ace is the newbie. Ace coming in for Mantra and coming out with the 3-1 upset over Cloud9. That's pretty surprising. Look at them.
Yeah, I mean, I love to see Ace on a roster that fits him. We talked about this a little bit when we were talking, Tony. You love to see that. We'll see what Mantra can do, but here we go. Game number 2. G1 versus Status Quo, and Status Quo coming out with that very first game. A very convincing one, but G1 starting this one off 6-1 thus far. Boo Boo has control of the snipe on top tower.
It's gonna be tough. Little 3-1 split action. Boo Boo Doo can play by himself with the sniper rifle while the rest of the 3 members of Gamers First collapse onto Status Quo, and now Boo Boo Doo into the fight onto the pillar side. Falcated and Gamers First just collapsing there. I told you, just spawn green and you will get punished, and that's exactly what happens. A 10-3 run for Gamers First.
Yeah, the spawns are locked as well on A. You see the always saying seems to be a bottom center push. Great snipe by Boo Boo there. You see the bottom center push through Rat Tunnel. They decide to back off. I believe there is a player from G1 down there pushing the back. It's going to be Sab. You see that? Look at the pinch coming in now. Look at how fast they pinch through here. Boo Boo does have to back off due to taking some damage, and because of that, Diagram does get 1 kill on the board there for Status Quo, but really good job by G1 to kind of pinch there together. Unfortunately, though, 14-6 for Status Quo. This is a huge lead, and Boo Boo still with the snipe in hand, gonna make things happen.
Magic Moonshot brought up a great point in that first series in saying that, you know, sometimes when you play angry, it can force you to play sloppy, but sometimes if you play angry, it can force you to play motivated. And right now, Gamers First are using that anger as motivation right now. They are playing upset. They are making a statement here to Status Quo, saying, you might have taken 1, but that's all you're taking here. Let's not forget there's levels to this, and Gamers First believe that they're on the upper echelon right now with a 10-kill advantage. Boo Boo Doo Boo with that sniper rifle in hand. Status Quo searching for answers, spawn after spawn, and the only thing they'll find or meet is their maker, and that's gonna be Boo Boo Doo Boo just escorting them to the black screen as that 10-kill lead grows to 11. And Gamers First continue to dominate Status Quo.
Boo Boo has put on a complete tear with his snipe. I think he's maybe missed 1 shot thus far, and you saw him as well in that very last moment. He was checking every corner on green. It's just so imperative to check everything to make sure there's no player trying to make a big play, and right there he ends up going down, but not without doing some massive damage. 24-10. If a statement needs to be made by G1, this is the statement they've got stamped in.
Now getting right up to the dummy side. Want to stick onto King Chain. That has to be frustrating. And so is that, just spawn up just to get knocked down. The body shot by Sab, the sidekick by Suppress as they continue to get cycled over and over again. Piggy over toward the nest side, but he's being isolated here. You have Suppress watch on the left, Sab on the right. Good shots by Piggy, forcing Suppress to back down. So they're going to reset right out of that situation. Great job by Piggy to defend and stand his ground there. But now it looks like Gamers First going to double right back, take him out. Diagram and Cherish getting back-to-back kills. Gamers First going 3 down for the first time here, right as Overshoot has started to come up. Is this the moment Status Quo have been waiting for?
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? They've got to get control of this OS, but look.
Wait,
once again, G1 have that tower control. They've got the Shroud screen, and even though Status Quo were set up on that A side, G1 with that Shroud screen able to steal away the OS.
Tim, what does Status Quo have to do better there to secure that overshoot? They got him 3
Space.
down. They were starting to run. What could they have done better?
They've got to take space on the map there. They've got to get control of A, but they've also got to potentially get control of tower, because then you force the spawns onto B, and then you have full control of this side of the map. They didn't do that. They let G1 spawn on that tower side, and because of that, G1 had control of the shroud screen, like I said, and then the OS as well.
Sniper rifle in the hands of Boo Boo Dooba right now. 10 kills, 7 assists to go along with it. The man only has died 2 times so far. Oh, this whole game is going on. My man has only died 2 times. And oh my God, Piggy. Watch your head, you're getting barbecue. Cherish ends up going down for the double kill as well. Boo Boo Dooba now advancing forward. 3 members of Status Quo getting trapped here over toward the green side again. The pressure is being applied. The rest of Gamers First coming in and doing that damage. And even if they lose this team battle, even if Status Quo emerge victorious on this, they have doubled the enemy's team score line right now. Gamers First have afforded to make a few mistakes. They've afforded to funnel once or twice because they've been looking dominant. They've been looking like the better team here on live fire.
I mean, yeah, this is flow state Boo Boo Doo, and it's a scary one. Flow Boo is what we'll call him. I mean, he's not missing a shot. He's playing very good, perfect, fundamental Halo, and he's got 9 assists on the board, Tony. He's about to be double-digit assists with only 4 deaths. Boo Boo playing phenomenal, and because of that, 42-26 with his team behind him, and potentially this next overshield. This is all but over here, but this OS could be a little bit of a turning point for Status Quo. Unfortunately, Diagram does charge out for it, but that slide, it just works so well. So many players using that now. They slide off the cut side onto the OS, and that should be an OS secured for Status Quo. Could they make something happen with this, though?
At this point, Gamers First only needing 6 more kills here, but King J with the sniper rifle not able to line up that shot. Luckily, Diagrams that replace him. The bait and switch with the overshield is so powerful, but so are the spike grenades that are coming in. Diagram able to get the kill, but has to give up his life and that overshield in order to do so. And now Gamers First, 1 squad wipe away. Even the sniper body shot isn't enough to stop Suppressed from flowing on in there. You're talking about just 2 more kills needed to give Suppressed a newbie. The sniper rifle, Diagram pushing up over toward the green side. Love that Shroud play, unselfish play to try to keep his teammate alive here. Falcator takes down Diagram. They're only looking for 1 more. Lines it up, body shots, and can't quite find the kill. Falcator's looking for it though. That's gonna be it. Gamers First taking game number 2. We're tied up going into a swing game 3.
Wow, and honestly, I mean, maybe live fire is a little bit of a weaker map for Status Quo potentially. I mean, that's a convincing win for G1. I don't want to take anything away from G1. They played phenomenal Halo as well. Multiple players just playing just great Halo. Boo Boo being one of them, of course. We talked about that. But like you said, the swing game number 3, CTF on Aquarius. Status Quo, they showed life in the first objective. Slayer, not so good, but back to an objective we go. Could this be their answer here? SSG versus Complexity, Tony.
I was saying it's gonna have to be the answer, but you know what? Hey, we don't like. I heard from a reliable source, excuse me,
yeah,
that the chat don't like breaks.
I don't like breaks either, Tony.
They don't want no break. They want to see action. They want to see action on top of action on top of action. So what we do here at LBT Halo, we give them action active. We get active with it. The extra E in your name stands for extreme action. I don't know. SSG versus Complexity on the screen right now. Looks like it's game number 1. King of the Hill on streets.
Active extreme casting here, and you know, this needs to be an SSG win. We talk about SSG so much, Tony, and you know, listen, I love the org so much, and I love the team. I think the team is great. Well, I constantly talk about, and you'll hear me talk about it so often, that the team starts off slow. And, you know, this is not the time to do so, Tony. You talked about how important pool play is. You talked about how many points are on the line. They've got to make sure to come through.
Well, as of right now, Space Station Gaming looking good on this hill number 1. We're talking about just a second worth of hill time, and we'll be moving on to Subway. Meanwhile, I'm gonna put like bigger pressure on Complexity. I feel like Complexity made a huge change. You're talking about half of the roster for Complexity being changed out for Monster and Collect. And I will say, I don't expect them to 3-0 Space Station Gaming, but I want them to look good. I want him to look competent in this matchup. I want him to make every single game close here, because this is the first look that we're seeing complexity with Monster and Collect.
SSG gonna get that very first hill. Complexity roster does look really solid though, and I've always loved Collect as a player as well. You know, of course, we saw that tweet from Spartan, you know, after Collect got removed from Sentinels. It wasn't a talent issue. It wasn't a personality issue. It wasn't any of that. It was just a playstyle issue and you know, not meshing very well with him. But Collect as an individual player is phenomenal. And I'm looking to see if he can shine on this Complexity roster, but SSG answering back with his very first hill, and they've got a little bit of control here on the Tram side. It's up to Collect to break through.
Yeah, Collect doing a great job putting down damage. Had to stay alive here. By time for his teammates to come in. The melee not going to connect there as Collect ends up going down. Tusk is going to get overwhelmed here. He gets into a bit of a 2v1. Now there's one more player trying to dive in. An absolute brawl has come out here on the subway side, but somehow it's Stellar, the only player alive here for SSG. Complexity having numbers, but Stellar straight and shot a bit too strong for Monster to handle. What a piv here by Stellar of Space Station Gaming.
Stellar with his Stalker on the Tram side is just going to provide so much space on the map. We talk about space being such a big factor, and it is. When you're able to put that much damage down across the map, you push players back, you make players retreat. That's exactly what Stellar's job is here. His job is to defend this lane, but he cannot. The Bulldog too strong. Cycle gets through. But they do get a trade on the other side as well. Make that 2 trades. Bound goes down as well. Complexity now in control.
Fades go in, and oh my gosh, Penguin drops a bit of a trap for Cycle there, and that's gonna allow Stellar to get away with the rockets but not stay alive. Those rockets sitting over toward the laundry side, so tough to get out unless you have a shroud. Collecting those rockets, bringing it over toward the subway side where the rest of Complexity happens to be, but rockets just being used as bait at the moment here. Eco getting right into the face. Monster gets himself a huge double kill right there, a triple kill now. Now gets the rockets and trying to connect for the overkill. There it is. We have Monster looking like an absolute beast, looking like an animal, looking like a monster indeed with the overkill. Continues to go in. A killing spree now coming in out of nowhere as Monster leaving nothing up to chance, putting the game in his own hands.
Well, he's leaving it up to Chance. Chance is his name. He's making a statement here. That was an incredible overkill to really set the tide here. They get so much of this hill because of that, because of the control he was able to take, because of the fact that he was able to get those rockets and utilize them. But all the while, they don't get enough hill time. They're not able to control the spawns. SSG are back in the driver's seat, even with that overkill happening. But Monster! This is what I mean. It's that momentum that you can take from getting an overkill like that and just drive through with that. And that's exactly what Monster's doing. It is going to continue to be on a tear here.
My gosh. Complexity did something right there, some kind of game-changing play, and man, did they find it within Monster right there, that overkill. He keeps going too. He's defending this hill for dear life in the shroud, challenging anybody here in the shadow realm. Not able to get the kill onto Bound, though Bound clears it out, gonna double right back in towards the hill. And as all this happens, another rocket launcher is coming up, which is gonna be so important for Complexity as they look to break out here. Space Station Gaming have cleared Complexity out. Rockets are coming up. Stalker rifle shot starting to connect. Monster able to take down 1, even able to take down 2. SSG get cleared out right before finishing that hill, and Complexity take back what's rightfully theirs. We are tied up at 1 apiece.
Oh man, Monster is just destroyed. Like this is one of those moments where it's my favorite moment in casting, is where you can just see a player has completely, and I'm gonna say the word so many more times in my casting career, has entered that flow state, and it's just so crazy to see what they're capable of, how fast, you know, they're able to react to things. Monster 18 and 12 to start this game. It's tied up 1-1, but potentially that momentum can drive this Complexity roster to get control. But look at that, Tony. All the while, SSG, a formation hold on this A side, has gotten this hill all the way to 75% thus far and wants to close it out right now. And it's Stellar in the driver's seat of that one.
Love Penguin showing us how to take get interesting value out of the Shroud right there. Up close and personal, uses to stay alive, comes right back in with the remote detonation. Eco taking down Monstrous. Complexity ends up going 3 down. This should be a 2-1 start here for Space Station Gaming. Complexity are already punting and moving on to the cafe side. And hold on, SSG step out for just a moment, maybe to allow the rest of the team to get an advantage. Maybe take control of the A side. Looks like that's exactly what happened. Collect with his Bulldog, has to make a play, takes down one, goes in for the second one, not able to connect. Collect ends up going down. Bound's gonna clear out this PD side, and SSG have dominant control over the A side. Complexity are the first ones in the hill.
That was such a smart play by Eco. Eco known as one of the smartest players in Halo, period. And that play there, you know, it might just, you know, skirt by and you might not notice what happened, but he knew that Collect had the shotgun. He got the call that he was pushing on A because they do have the death cams. So he took the close angle towards that A stairs. He didn't give him any space just to make sure to get those 2 melees to kill that shotgun player. That's a huge play by Eco.
Down right up with ATM, right over to the purple side. Excellent shots by him and Stellar, who gets himself the double kill. Now Stellar gets a triple kill and keeping Collect away. No overkill for Stellar, but look how far of a rotation Complexity have to make. Now they have to try to find some kind of imaginary route, or at least create one towards the mid-map just to get close onto this hill, because as of right now, Space Station Gaming are already about, what, 60, maybe almost 70% done with it. Complexity have to punch right through. Psycho not able to take down Bound. Stellar gets himself a kill. Collect can't quite find the stick. 4 members of Complexity go down. 3 members of Space Station Gaming end up going down, and only 1 player on the map soaks up all of this hill time.
Yeah, and something that tells me is that SSG is just so good at controlling these spawns. Like you said, they force the spawns all the way on the other side with that triple kill from Stellar. And you saw the overkill from Monster. The spawns weren't really controlled with that overkill. They didn't take the correct space on the map. And because of that, SSG now 3-1. And that hill is on the bottom center. And guess who's got the Stalker in the most powerful position on the map? It's going to be Eco.
The 2 members of Complexity look to push him right out of the subway side. They're able to deal with one, even able to take down Penguin here, but Complexity spending all that time trying to clear out the seaside. The map time is winding down. Less than a minute on the clock. Tusk going in for the challenge onto Bound. Bound going right up in his face through the Shroud. Losing a bit of aim assist right there, so couldn't quite connect onto Tusk. Tusk ends up getting away. Collect gets taken out though by Penguin. Excellent shots by Eco as they look to zone Complexity out of here for just 36 more seconds. That's all SSG need to take game 1.
Yeah, that's all they need. They'll continue to slay here. They'll take control. Collect is going to be by himself on the A side of the map. They're going to force spawns on the red room side. Actually, Cycle does get a PD spawn, so he can potentially sneak through here, but like you said, 19 seconds. Stellar has the rockets. Don't sneak through because you're gonna get a rocket to the face.
Where you sneaking, bud? You get spotted with the rockets. He ain't going nowhere. 3 down, go Complexity. Just 5 more seconds, and it looks like Space Station Gaming are gonna take game number 1. How would you evaluate Complexity's play though in that game 1?
Well, the thing is, Space Station was able to get the kills as well, right? But the thing with Space Station's kills is that they all meant something. Every kill meant something to take control of an area of the map, to force spawns on one side of the map as well. And they just do that. They did that a lot better than Complexity did, and that's what won them that game. But I mean, just overall great job by SSG to just be aware of, you know, have awareness on the map and just know, you know, how to force those spawns. But we're going into a game number 3 here, Tony. It's going to be status quo versus G1. We're tied at 1-1. We're back in this series again.
Yeah, as much as we talk about momentum, you know, and energy shifting from one team to another, when the series is tied up like this, I always talk about this swing game 3 being so important in a best of 5 series. Lots of times teams will just run away with a 3-1 based off of the result of a game 3 win. I really feel that way. And as of right now, status quo in a stalemate with Gamers First, and they're putting Gamers First 3 down. That should allow them to get aggressive here, but Suppress somehow gets the flank as the final player live. That's a perfect kill coming out of Suppress. King J is pinging left and right, saying we gotta get in there, we gotta touch, and Cherish is there, but nobody home just yet. A 1-0 lead here for Gamers First. 4 minutes and 22 seconds on the clock.
Not only do they get that 1-0 lead, but look at what they have control of here. They have control of the 50% portion of the map, top P. And because of that top peak control, they get 3 down. They're able to pull the flag through utility. Just a textbook pull once again out of this G1 roster. They've got the spawns forced as well, and Status Quo are just left to fight. And not only do they have to fight, they try and stop this flag, but if they put too many resources towards stopping this flag, there's a potential second flag that will come through. So it's all about making sure that, you know, with those slays, or when that flag is being pulled, you get the slays so that you can kind of like trade that flag cap for a little bit of control. And fortunately enough for Status Quo, they do that, but they've still got to kill off a spawn once again.
We've got 2 members of Status Quo pushing up over toward utility side. Not sure what happened with one of them. I think one of them was King J, so pressure was coming in. Hold on, Diagram, Piggy. Back-to-back kills. Diagram going in for another one, but his brother takes him down, stays alive, and makes sure that his base is cleared out here. Piggy on the opposite side, already starting the flagpole, but not confident enough to push through with it. They want to start it, get these slays, and then maybe relay it forward through the car side of the map.
And that's tough, right, Tony? Because like you get that thrust, it's essentially a guaranteed kill, but suppressed with some beautiful shots to make sure that does not happen. These shots are going to be a big factor here. Pay attention to the clock. 2 minutes and 53 seconds left, so there will be one more or 2 more shots in the game to work with. Both flags being pulled here. Cherish is going to get that return. Boo Boo, the last player alive, not really in a position to stop this, and this could potentially be Status Quo's first flag. The question is, can they all stay alive with this flag cap? Diagram does go down here, but they trade out for Boo Boo.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not only just a flag cap, but putting themselves within 1 of the opposition is value in itself. Like if you're down by 2, you have no chance of sudden death. If you're within 1, you grab that flag, you can force sudden death, and sudden death is technically infinite. You know, you have so much you can stalemate for what, like 15, 20 minutes. We don't see it like that, but putting yourself within sudden death position is so important. That's exactly what happens here for Status Quo. 2 minutes on the clock for enough time for anything to happen, especially as gamers first find themselves 2 down. Cherished able to do as much damage onto the P side, even gets the stick onto Falcated as well. So excellent life coming out of Cherish, putting a 17th kill on the board and stopping the push from gamers first.
Again, such a good play by Boo Boo right there. You know, the top center. This might seem minimal, but put shots in the top center from P2, but doesn't take any damage. Make sure to get out of the angle of that player top center so he does damage, and he's able to continue to hold that top P control. 2 down for Status Quo here. And once again, G1 have control of the power weapons, with Boo Boo having the Seat Wave in hand.
I'm just saying, if anybody at home was wondering whether Suppress was going to be a good pickup for this squad, I mean, there's 28 kills and 10 assists. Don't tell you, does it? Don't tell you something, because so far this man's been keeping up. He's been doing his thing, a high damage dealer. If he doesn't end up with the top KD on his team, he usually has the most damage done. I've been saying it for a while. Suppress is underrated. And even going into season 2, he continues to be underrated. Now people are starting to see that he's the real deal. He definitely has earned this spot here on G1. The question is, what is he going to do with it? 44 seconds on the clock. Status Quo looking to force you into that sudden death situation here. Gamers first having to have that ultimate defense come in, but King J and Piggy getting back-to-back kills. That's going to be huge. Suppress having to step up and get a double kill to force Status Quo right out of the base, and those are the plays that they need him to make. When you have to defend for 30 seconds and 2 of your teammates go down, who's going to make that play? Suppress ends up doing it. 19 seconds now for Status Quo to not only cross the map, but to pull a flag, and you have all of G1 watching every single angle. This is about impossible.
Yeah, I honestly thought that Status Quo had that flag cap, but you saw the massive low percentage kill once again, and another one from Suppressed and Boo Boo, and there it is. G1 are gonna take game number 3. The series now 2-1.
I'm sorry, I gotta give a shout out to that play, Tim.
That's huge.
You got two members of Status Quo pushing up, a third member trailing, by the way. They are able to put you 2 down. Your whole team is locked on your side of the base. You've already made up your mind to say, this is our defense, this is our final stance. We're going to stop Status Quo from pulling this flag right here. And G1 go 2 down. What does Suppress do? Answers right in with that double kill. That slows down status quo completely. Eventually the third one falls as well, and then even the final push comes in with maybe like 10 seconds left, and he continued to get kills after that. The newbie of Gamers First making plays to defend that base and to secure the win here for Gamers First. That's what they need him to do. That's exactly what they do, and now we're going to recharge strongholds, and Gamers First have that momentum that we continue to talk about.
And we always see this roster mania happen where multiple players will go on all these different teams, and Suppressed, he's been one of those players that has jumped around to multiple teams and hasn't really ever found a home. But every team he's been on, Tony, I think you would agree with me, right? He's provided massive value. Maybe he's found his home here on G1.
Yeah, it's crazy, but like, no matter where he goes, they get better. And somehow he still gets to find like a permanent home. It's ridiculous. Like, even like remember the French Toast Mafia run with like
yes.
Gilkey? Yep. Like, even that team was crazy. They got like third place over at one of the, I think it was the SSG Spartan Snowdown. It was no matter where he goes, they tend to do better. And now G1 giving him that ultimate chance, putting him on the top roster right now. And we're going to see what he does with it. Right now, Gamers First putting Status Quo 3 down, but the final member of Status Quo gets away with the camouflage. Back smack, not quite going to connect, but the double melee will. Boo Boo Doo tries to follow it up, but King J making sure that he doesn't give any free shots away, then get the back shot onto Boo Boo Doo, chasing him out of the A side. Well played by King J. Team was 3 down, and they're able to take C and A.
That was a beautiful play. He didn't just rush for A there. You saw it. He didn't want to get inside of A so that the indicator wouldn't pop up. So he stays behind it. Baits the beat down onto Boo Boo, cleans him up, and is then able to get his shields back and push Boo Boo off of A. So just beautiful job, beautiful value out of that camo.
Cherish with the shock rifle in hand. Reaver's teammates do end up going down. So right now, Status Quo having a hard time just staying on the map right now. You saw King J with that camouflage having to make a play when they go 3 down, and now Cherish having to do the same thing with the shock rifle. Is able to take down one on his way to the A side, even able to get a killing spree does Cherish. So despite the fact that Status Quo are losing numbers, somehow they're making individual plays to hold on to these double caps and to hold on to the lead. How long will this strategy last for? There's that for Status Quo, Tim. I feel like you can't win strongholds and keep going 3 down, right?
Yeah, they've got to get the slays here, and this is where this cross comes into play, right? You see Cherish on the cross on top C. They get this cross damage. Oh my gosh, but look, Sab gets the kill on the kill feed. They end up trading out, but that's not what you want to see. You lose your top glass player, even when you had cross damage. Regardless, though, Cherish able to make a massive play, but can he stop the A-hold is the question, and he does with a trade of a stick. They continue to maintain 2 caps.
Long range shot by Suppress, gonna connect here. King J getting caught between 2 different players, but Diagram with the flank, gonna take down one and chase away Boo Boo Doo Boo at the same time here. So Status Quo getting that numbers advantage that we want to see, and Sab stays alive onto the gold side.
Sab gets 1. Not able to get the second onto King J. King J stays alive there as well, so he's got control of that A side. We are going to be switching over to SSG here versus Complexity. SSG up 1-0. We'll keep you guys updated on that Status Quo match, but hopping over to SSG, of course, we've got game number 2. It's going to be a Slayer tied up 38-38, and I'm really happy for this switch. This is a very close game, Tony.
With game number 1 already in the hands of Space Station Gaming, this game 2 can be huge for SSG and really put Complexity out of reach. Complexity need to treat this game number 2 as if it's a game 5. They need to treat it as if it's a must-win game for them. Don't give SSG that type of momentum. Bound sniper rifle in hands. How many times have we seen this man make plays with the sniper rifle? Tim, how many times have we seen headshots just hit the board, just like you're about to see right here? Not quite able to connect with that shot. The nades going in, chasing down off of the nest side. Eco off the screen, able to get the stick onto Psycho, and Bound. Well, he was gonna repulse up the tower. I don't think he realized he had no more repulses left. So all he has is a sniper rifle, and he's gonna use it. That's a double kill. Almost able to get the triple. Stares down the barrel of a 1v3, but somehow Bound puts down max damage on the map.
And that's just a lesson here for all the matchmaking kids, okay? Bound went down and dropped into a 1v3 because he had help on pillar side, okay? So he knew he had help to take that 1v3. Obviously hit some massive shots with a snipe, but oh my goodness, like continuing on a tear here as Eco taking up the reins of the sniper, and this game completely flips on its head now. A 3-kill lead for SSG.
Woo. Another body shot coming in. Eco feeling himself as well. Overshield coming up in complexity. Desperately needed. Cycle's waiting. Shroud is out. He's going to pull that right back in. Tusk is actually putting his body in between Eco and the Overshield player. Now the ban switch is coming in, and the ultimate switches that Overshield player as Cycle looking to cycle SSG. You're down by 3 kills. You can't go down here. SSG are one squad wipe away from taking you out. Double push now coming out of complexity as Stellar takes down Cycle. Tusk and Monster match it with 2, and Space Station Gaming pushed them right back out throughout all this. Bound stays alive onto the tower side as Tusk takes down Eco, bringing them within 2, but SSG only needing 2 to come out with the win here.
That was a really good play there by Complexity, but Tusk was a little bit late on that push. Because of that, they're not able to really do much from it. I believe Collect is gonna end up crashing, I believe, and because of that, regardless, I think it was over anyway, right, Tony? I would assume that it was over anyway, but I don't know. I don't know if it was a crash or if it was him just being done.
That is no, I mean, a 1-kill game, 49-48.
Was it? I thought it was 47. I was mistaken then. So yeah, I mean,
well, even if so, like 47, 48, 49, 47. Like I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
I figured maybe he got caught out in the open, but regardless, we'll keep you guys updated on that one. Back to the G1 status quo series here. G1, of course, up 2-1, and we said we'd keep you updated on it. Why don't we just watch it, Tony? 144 for status quo. Since we've watched, they've gotten a little bit of a lead here, but now that we're back commentating the game, Tony, looks like G1 are coming back.
Clearly, we're just a casting curse duo for Status Quo. Status Quo's are like right up a contra for HCS. Tim and Tony are never allowed to cast us. every time we have them on screen, we tend to start losing no matter how much things looking good for us. But no, Status Quo played King of the Hill really well. They played Strongholds really well, and they're continuing to play well against Gamers First. They have the lead. An A-B setup here. Cherish gets a huge kill onto Sab. King J and Piggy getting back-to-back kills, putting Gamers First 3 down. That's valuable time that Gamers First now can't take B, can't take A, and now Status Quo that are taking all that advantage and making sure they're trapping Gamers First off of spawn.
Yeah, he tried to trap him off a spawn there with a remote detonation, just barely missing the timing. That could have been the first kill onto C and numbers advantage for Status Quo, but you see Cherish is going to get double pushed here. Has to go for that trade. I actually don't mind that play. I mean, there's 3 down now for G1 with that trade there. So he trades his life, 3 down. They still maintain control, and they continue to maintain time.
We're seeing multiple members of Status Quo along the gold side of the map. King J was trying to fill in that gap over towards the needle side, but he gets spotted and taken down here. And Piggy defending A side. It looks like Gamers First want to start their push over toward the gold side. Diagram feeling the pressure from both Sab and Suppressed, forced to back on out. Somehow Diagram able to take down Boo Boo Doo. Cherish is chasing down the one-shot player, trades out his life in order to take him down, to grapple right in to trade his life out. And then somehow Falcon tries to emerge victorious to steal away Bravo, but it's gonna be Boo Boo Doo that ends up doing that. King J, long range shots trying to stay alive here, but it's still C and A setup for Status Quo that somehow when Gamers First are looking good, Status Quo simply out-rotate them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well said. They're rotating towards the opposite side of G1, and because of that, they're just able to continuously get this camo. They played that camo so well. They got control of C plat. Now they're off of C plat. The spawns are coming out from G1 onto C plat, and King J has the camo to work with, and they continue to hold A and B. And continuously, they're finding these isolated players right there. You see Falcon trying to go towards that glass side, but because he's isolated, because they have the cross from King J, they're able to get that kill as well. And now approaching 230 seconds, Tony. Status Quo looking to tie this series up.
We're seeing Savage Suppress looking to push another double push over toward the long close side. Actually, Suppress breaks right through towards Needles, but and two members of Status Quo forces him right down to the Mangler. And with that, they have to hop into a hill right now. They are running out of time. Boo Boo Doobu and Sab find the kills they were looking for. Boo Boo Doobu not able to stay alive here. It looks like one is able to sneak on in as Status Quo go 3 down. It looks like Gamers First not only prioritizing A, but looking at that taking B as well. A trip cap coming for Gamers First. Meanwhile, Status Quo just 5 seconds away from forcing a game 5.
Yeah, and this is where it gets scary, right? Because G1 now, they're in full control, but not only that, they're more of a structured team, at least in my eyes, right? So G1 with this triple cap, finally the bleeding does stop, but this is a comeback that could potentially happen, especially with the way G1 plays. I'm not gonna be surprised if something like this happens. That being said though, A and B are gonna be taken, C is gonna be taken as well, and this could be it.
Momentary trip cap for Status Quo. Somehow Gamers First find himself in alpha, but it takes 2 to tango, and Status Quo winning emphatically 250 to 153 to send us into a game 5. Who had this on the bingo board?
Not me, Tony. I hate bingo. I'm terrible at that game, but I definitely didn't have it on there. G1 is such a good roster already, and with the addition of Suppress, of course we're gonna have some growing pains there. I don't think that every team has a honeymoon stage. I truly don't believe that is the case. Sometimes teams, you know, you form a team together, it feels really good, you know the pieces are correct, the pieces of the puzzle do fit, but sometimes it takes a bit of time to make the puzzle, right? You got to take time, and maybe that's the case for G1. I feel like they played so well in that Slayer game, even closing out that Aquarius CTF, but you know, maybe this could be a potential of, I wish we could talk to Mikowski here. This could be a potential of, you know, maybe a weaker game type for them with recharge, you know, recharge strongholds, but we'll have to see. Now we're on to Empyrean Slayer. This is a devastating game type. One mistake, you potentially run into a situation where you're spawn trapped on your shotgun, nothing to do, no, you know, monster is on, a monster player is on top of your turret and you're trapped, but we'll see if Status Quo can finish this out. I mean, I didn't expect this at all. I expected, you know, a 1-3 for this G1 roster.
Yeah, you know, we expected a honeymoon phase out of Gamers First, but maybe we're seeing one out of Status Quo. Either way, all I know is that 50% of marriages end up in divorces, so I don't know what's gonna happen. We might end up with another roster mania. I don't know. But what I do know is Game 5 is about to be on the way. Gamers First going up against Status Quo. It's gonna be here on the remake of Pit. Empyrean, 2 sniper rifles, rockets, overshield, plenty of goodies on the map. And one thing I can expect to say is we're gonna see multiple stalemates. We're going to see this game slow down multiple times. It's game 5. You cannot make those mistakes. You cannot get averaged here, and you cannot allow Diagram to steal away an overshield and sniper rifle and now get onto your side. Status Quo, a legendary name back in Halo 3 and Halo Reach. They know the Pit real well.
That's a good point. They do know the Pit real well. Diagram's gonna be pushing aggressively here. They decide not to take top tower control. They're gonna get the slay. You saw one spawn did go on a top tower already, so they've got that player trapped now. But now they're gonna be in a situation where players are gonna spawn on both sides. Les Cherish makes a good play. You see him back up towards shotgun there. Unfortunately, 2 go down here. So Status Quo now have to push in again. G1 do a really good job of quelling that spawn trap and making sure it does not happen. They're only down by 2.
I feel like if I'm Status Quo, I believe their coach, I think his name is like Doug Nasty, I want to say that their coach is. I apologize, I'm getting that wrong, but I feel like I'm calling up Flame Sword. And I'm like, yo, Flame, I'm gonna need you to coach. Like there's no shot that I'm coaching Pit game 5 for this team when I have Flame Sword owning the organization. I'm calling up Flame Sword, like, yo, for this one game, for this one series, yeah, coach the team to victory.
We'll see if they're able to use some of that knowledge, but 4 down for Status Quo. G1 have a little bit of a lead. They do take that top tower control, and now this is where, like, so if Status Quo is in this driver's seat, Tony, I'm worried, but not as worried. But now that G1 is in the driver's seat of the spawn trap, I am a little worried. But look at that, they send 2 over to kill Sab. No one goes down, and now Boo Boo's forced to back up. Beautiful defensive play by Status Quo.
Yeah, when I think of G1 and their ability to, you know, flip that offense into defense and them being so well when they get their feet planted and set up, you know, when they get into the spawn traps, you should be worried if you're status quo. But status quo, they are able to get the kills necessary to break right out, and now they find themselves out of their own base and infiltrating the base of Gamers First right as Overshield is coming up, and Rockets at the same time. Sab able to take down Cherish. Piggy looks like he might get first hands on the Rockets here, so we might see G1 with Overshield in hands and status quo with the Rockets, but nobody accounting for Diagram, who drew up this play perfectly. Double kill, 4 down. Overshield and Rockets now in the hands of status quo. Gamers First, they're about to get spawn trapped and they're about to get punished. Is status quo about to upset here in pool play?
I mean, playing the play perfectly is exactly what I saw there. Diagram with a beautiful target switch, target prioritization, goes for the one-shot kill, cleans it up, continues to press on, gets the triple kill, and now going back to the tower side spawns. Diagram is on a tear. The target switch again almost gets the double, 25-20. That spawn trap just gave them a 5-kill lead. That is status quo.
As much as I've been praising Suppressed, I gotta talk about his brother Diagram. The fact that he got that flank off over towards Overshield without having any help. Piggy was over on the Rocket side. He gets the flank over towards Overshield, gets the double kill, steals it away. Piggy ends up with the Rockets, and if Gamers First go 4 down because of Diagram, and they get every single resource on the map, and that's what started this lead. Eventually, status quo not able to really keep that pressure on them, but they still got some valuable plays right there. Diagram with that triple kill. And now a 4-kill game as they retreat back to their side and force Gamers First to force the action here. Status quo playing well beyond their years right now. I'm not gonna lie to you, Tim. I'm impressed with what I'm seeing out of status quo.
Yeah, you're right. I love the presence of mind here to back up when they have the power opens, Tony. There's no need to rush forward. They know that. They know they don't have map control. So instead, they decide to play back at their base and just make Gamers First come to them. That's exactly what they're doing here right now. And I'm gonna tell you, King J with a snipe in hand, you better be scared if you're on the other team.
He's not done either. He has 3 members of status quo that are backing him up, being that frontal player so he can continue to move up and get these interesting angles onto Gamers First that they can't anticipate. He's over here on the long haul side, staring down Sword. He's almost counterplaying the popular position of bringing a sniper over towards Sword, and he's daring them to do so. And again, another play well beyond the years here for status quo. This is a fairly newer team. Cherish was playing Apex, you know, a couple of years ago. You know, Piggy was still playing Halo 5 a couple of years. Like this, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of them. And now Overshield is coming up. King J and status quo are able to secure it here. Falcated might have been able to get away with the Rockets, but King J as sniper. Overshield is in the hands of Cherished, and status quo are in the base of Gamers First.
Yeah, Boo Boo was trying to hold Sword there. I believe he did have the heat wave, but ends up going down. So that's a big kill by Piggy in that Sword side. And now, like you said, they've got that top tower control. The spawns have been flipped though, so back goes King J into Sword. He's trying to establish control of his side. He gets the call that they're good on that side of the map, so stays here with Diagram and Piggy. Everything's been pretty much flipped here, but Diagram in a great position on the top tower and continues to be in good positions. This entire game, he set himself up in the positioning that just continues to give them or give him damage on the enemy team that can just be cleaned up by his teammates like Piggy. 35-32. A very large lead here for status quo, and they're looking to extend that lead as well.
But Gamers First eating away at it. What started off as a 5, then a 4-kill game. Now only down by 2, make it 1 here. Status quo answers right back. Diagram able to take down Falcated, but Boo Boo Doo doing everything he can to stay alive, including the repulse movement. And now Sav has the sniper rifle over towards the tower side. Gamers First have stopped status quo right in their tracks, brought it back within 1, but can they close it out? Because we are quickly approaching the end game.
Suppress being pushed by multiple there, gets a kill, ends up going down, but that trade is valuable, especially when you're in a 2v1 situation. The trades continue to come out for status quo, where when it's a close game like this, those trades are valuable as can be. 37-38, 5 minutes remaining. Snipe in the hands of Sab. On the other side, I don't believe any snipe is in the hands of anybody, but regardless, I mean, it's going to be a stalemate for a bit here. You see, G1 is kind of stacked on this sword side, and this is a good position because you block off one player. You see Cherish that's on the top turret there? You block off that player from line of sight, and you're able to just kind of isolate players in this little narrow, view that you have of their green box. And that's why sword is so very strong, especially the fact that Sab has this snipe. But I love that they all turned to him, got him out of scope, and then pushed through, and now they're gaining space.
Yeah, so it's comparable to like a rook on a chessboard, the way you're able to just isolate that one avenue and lock it down because of the pressure and the movement that you're able to make. That angle with that sniper rifle is deadly from sword, but you gotta have your teammates there to support you, and he gets chased right out of it, tied up at 40 apiece right now. Diagram, 17 kills for this team. Suppressed his brother, 14 kills. That is huge for them. Meanwhile, I know I think we caught a glimpse of Complexity winning that matchup right there. So
wow.
We, as the game's slowing down, want to show you as much action as possible. Big for Complexity, and now we're gonna find out Status Quo can pull off an upset here in game 5 as they take a 2-kill advantage. Diagram and King J back-to-back kills, now 7 kills away from taking this game 5 here. Status Quo once again taking command. Sab with the beautiful shots onto Cherish, forcing them back down. The third party not able to get the kill, but Diagram sneaks in to take down Sab. Gamers First have no idea that Diagram is in their base, and he's wreaking havoc here as now the lead slipping. This game is slipping out of Gamers First hands. It's a 5-kill game. Status Quo one squad wipe away from pulling off the upset. Piggy taking down Suppressed right as the sniper rifles are coming up.
Wow, that was beautiful by Status Quo there. They isolated 2 different players, one on sword, one on the snipe side, getting Boo Boo running away as well. 49 to 43. Status Quo only need 1. This is game 5. If they win this is gonna be an incredible upset here, and it's King J trying to get that last kill with the snipe.
1 more kill. That's all you need to take down the Juggernauts, the team that upset Space Station Gaming in a 3-1. Status Quo 1 kill away from pulling off another upset here in Pool C, the hell pool that we're seeing right now. As King J down to 1 shot, having to stay alive onto the sword days. Luckily his teammates watching every single angle. Nobody on Gamers First able to extend for that kill. One mistake will cost them this entire series here for Gamers First, but Suppress gets the big kill onto Diagram. That sniper rifle comes out, but somehow Falcon gets the BR kill, and that's gonna be it. Falcon goes down. King J's awarded that one, and it looks like they're taking game number 5. That's the upset. Status Quo have taken down Gamers First.
Wow. This is definitely not what we expected here for Status Quo, but let me tell you who did expect it, Tony. You know who I'm gonna say. We interviewed him. King J had the confidence to know, I don't care who I'm playing against, I'm going to win, and he showcases it here. The last 2 games, look at that deficit on the recharge game, 250 to 153. G1, I mean, they're such a good roster on paper, and they're, even with Suppress, such a great addition. But Status Quo came to play today. An incredible series that goes the distance. Oh, what a good show, man. My goodness.
Dude, King J clutching up for that final kill. King J icing up and putting that 50th kill in a game number 5, and it's King J once again showing us that ball truly is beautiful. Shout out to Status Quo. Shout out to King J Status Quo pulling off the upset. Gamers First might have been able to beat out SSG, but still showing a little bit of inconsistency.